as a matter of fact, I'm a book pusher. Hello mortals, I am the booktube goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. Today is a very special day. Not really. I'm behind on catching up on some book tags. People still do book tags, right? No? Anyway, I was tagged by Victoria, the bookish sock. And we love socks and we love books, so we love the bookish sock. And she tagged me in the Dilemmas of a Book Nerd tag. The original tag was by Lindsay's Little Library. So let's go through the dilemmas. Dilemma 1, book storage. How do you store and organize your books? Well, I do have a couple of bookshelves for my physical books, and they are very unorganized, and I have a tour if you want to check that out. But these days, I pretty much stick with ebooks, so all my organization is on my Kindle. Dilemma number 2, tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? I do not keep track, which is terrible because I've bought books before and realized after the first chapter or two that I've read it before. No one does that, right? Only me? But since I turned to Kindle, and yes, I shop through Amazon, and Amazon keeps tracks of what books I've already bought, so that doesn't happen so much anymore. Dilemma number 3, borrow. Do you lend your books out? Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm a book pusher. I usually give books out and I never ask for them back. And I love giving away books, mostly because it helps me avoid clutter and hoarding. And I know many of you can relate. In 1 year, you can collect a lot of books. And if you extrapolate that, think of how many books you can stockpile in a few decades. So it's a good thing to keep your book hoarding a little under control. Dilemma 4, buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? Again, nowadays I stick primarily to ebooks. Most of the bookstores I used to visit are closed down now, but I'll give a shout out once again to Borderlands Books in San Francisco, which was saved by the community. Dilemma number 5, comments. How do you respond to the "how do you read so much" comment or similar comments? Well, I would just smile knowingly and shrug. However, since I've gotten involved in BookTube, I don't think I read that much compared with some other booktubers who could read double or triple or more in a month than what I read. Dilemma number 6, next book. How do you pick your next book to read? In the old days, I really loved going to a bookstore and browsing and picking books by the cover. Now I shop online for ebooks, and sometimes that's harder. I'll go through Goodreads recommendations, and I also like seeing lists of books, like lists of the best fantasy or whatever. Of course, now that I'm an active booktuber, I've also gotten books solely for a readathon or recommendations by other booktubers. And of course, there's my ridiculous game of Shelve It or Shove It, where I pick new release books solely based on the cover, which kind of brings me back full circle of how I used to choose books in bookstores. I'm getting so emotional. Not really. Dilemma number 7, travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you? Well, I just came back from Hawaii and I liked bringing a series of books, so I know the story will go on and on. So if I don't bring a series, I like a nice big thick book that I know will last me through my vacation. Dilemma number 6, annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark in your books in any ways?
I never do that.
Dilemma number 7, new or backlist. What do you prefer, new releases or backlist books? And I honestly have no preference. I like backlist books because it's like finding a hidden gem or finding an author that I like and wanting to go back and definitely reading their backlist. And it's kind of fun finding great books that people have kind of forgotten about. Now, new releases are exciting because you're reading a book for the first time along with everyone else. Dilemma number 10, sequels. Do you read books as they are released or wait for the entire series to be published before reading the book? Well, I think I've said this before, but I prefer to have the entire series published. However, sometimes I can't wait and will pick up the first 2 books in a trilogy even if the last book isn't out yet. But I prefer when the entire series is already published. I love binge reading. Now it is time for me to tag other booktubers who I think may want to answer the tag for the Book Nerd Dilemma. I would love to hear from Gavin Hetherington, the awesome creator of the Believe-a-thon, and I really feel guilty because I ended up with a lot of negative reviews in his readathon, which was no fault of his, it was the fault of my books to pick, though I didn't even like the group book. But Gavin, I really hope you'll forgive me, and I really do love your readathon, and I'll definitely participate next year, hopefully with better books. And I will also tag Lovely Books, who has a really great personality. She looks like Gillian Anderson, and she should have a lot more subscribers, so please check her out. Finally, I'll tag Michael Nip, a booktuber I just found who has some really good production value in his videos. And because he's a nerd, please subscribe if you haven't, and may all the books you read be blessed.